And we're back, and today we got the Trae Young 2. This is going to be the Trae-tlien colorway, and let me tell you, this shoe is different. So let's get into some of the details of this shoe. So first of all, let's talk about the aesthetics. This is what the shoe has going on. It's going to be this black theme for the majority of the shoe. In the back, it is going to have this purple details. So it's not going to be all black per se, but it does have this real dark theme like we mentioned. And for the bottom section of the shoe, is going to have these bright colors. That's why the shoe is called Trae-tlien, kind of giving you those Predator or Alien vibes. Because Trae Young, that guy's a freak of nature, it's just the way he plays. So I do like the whole concept of the shoe. Now we get a close-up of the material. You can see it's going to be this prime knit. And I do like how that feels, like when you touch this material. I mean, it is real plush, so that's a huge win for this shoe. Because you don't want to have a booty-like construction and then the material be cheap. So this shoe goes for 140 USD. So, I mean, they deliver with the material for the upper, most definitely. Now, it's going to be a fact if you either like wearing shoes, basketball shoes, that have this booty construction or not. Personally, I try to stay away from shoes like that because I never have really liked them, and I've tried a couple of different ones. But for this basketball shoe, I mean, it actually felt real good. I was surprised when I put my foot inside this shoe. I didn't have too hard of a problem with it being this type of design. I'm a wifer, and I didn't feel that it was bad at all because it opens up and stretches out pretty well. So I felt that my ankle had good containment, and even like the front and the middle of the shoe, I felt real good. So one of the reasons why that happens because it does have a whole lot of padding in the back. Okay, we'll do the effects when you guys can see the padding right there on the collar of the ankle area. So that right there is going to help out also because, I mean, it is, again, we talked about this new material, but as you can tell, look, it has structure to it. You press down on it and it comes back to how the shoe is. It's not too flimsy. I mean, it does move when you press down like this because there's nothing inside the shoe, right? But when you're wearing it, I mean, it feels real solid. Like right here, you could just feel the support. Look at that. I'm squeezing it and it returns to its design. And why this shoe has such good structure, because look, it has these cutouts right here all throughout. In the front, it's got this prime knit. You can see that it is made with different layers. It's got this fused material as well on the side. And again, the back of the shoe is very good padded wise, and again, more cutouts for the whole shoe. So all those things are going to contribute to the shoe maintaining its structure. And a lot of people are saying, hey, you know, with this basketball shoe, maybe we could have did without the laces. And I do agree, especially with a brand new shoe like this one. If you're wearing it, I mean, it's gonna feel like the laces don't do much. And when I tried it out, that was the case. Walking around or jumping in this shoe, and I could tell, like, hey, you know, why did they put the laces? But then it hit me because this is a knit material, so in the long run, it's probably going to lose a little bit of its firmness, how tight the shoe is on your foot. So that's why it has these laces for the future, because then you can pull the material inward and maintain that lockdown feel. So, I mean, this is some good thinking from Adidas, especially they're trying to make this shoe last for all your basketball games. So it's just a matter of seeing if the shoe is going to perform for a real long time, and that's yet to be seen, so only time will tell. Now moving on to the bottom portion of the shoe, I am going to say I do like this combination where they got the boost in the back, then they got the light strike in the front for the cushioning. I mean, that helps out a whole lot, because I was kind of thinking, why would they do that for a player like Trae Young? And it makes sense because Trae Young likes to move and be real shifty, and he's real good with the step backs and pulling up on guys. Sometimes he'll shake and bake on lots of guys. He cooks a lot of players, right? But also, a part of his game that he has, he likes to go inside the lane. He's always kind of jumping up there, right? With the floaters or with the passing when he gets up in the air. He draws that defense in. So I like that they have the boost in the back, because that's going to help him with those landings when he's inside the lane. When he's going up for those layups, he's always getting knocked down, right? I mean, he's got that support where he doesn't have to worry about where he's going to land. And then again, the light strike for all that shiftiness that Trae Young is known for. And let me tell you, when I put on this shoe, I was pleasantly surprised that this shoe is kind of like certain shoes you put them on and you feel you can jump higher. Now with this shoe, when I put it on, I felt that I could just move like left and right, that my step backs are going to be real good. Kind of like the Lucas shoes, when you put them on, you're like, oh yeah, I can see why the feel of that shoe, you feel that step back pretty predominant on that basketball shoe that he has. And with the Trae Young, is no exception. I mean, you feel that you can definitely move with the side steps. You just get that feel like right here on this basketball shoe. And we can turn around and you can see why. And Adidas is real good with having those wide bases, and that helps out a whole lot, especially when you're trying to push off. I mean, you got a lot of material that's going to help you out. So huge plus. This is what the traction looks like. It's going to be this rubber. And I like what they're doing with it. It has this in the back, multi-directional, kind of like the circle. Got different grooves and ridges going in different directions. Right, there's a little bit of herringbone right there. And again, you got that circle pattern right there. So, I mean, you can step in a lot of different ways and you know you're covered. So, I feel this traction is going to do real good. And it feels really solid. Like, you just gotta watch out when it's dusty, right? Make sure you're wiping because that can affect your game. And the material is really hard, so this shoe would do good for the traction if you don't do toe drags. Because look, you got all this knit around, right? So you're a heavy toe dragger. That's why they added this in the front to help out. Okay? But if you are a heavy toe dragger, I mean, try to stay away from playing outdoors. But if you're not, I mean, I feel that this traction is going to last playing outdoors. Okay? And if you play in an area that's maybe not too hot, I mean, this can work, right? Especially if you play in an area that's cool. You have the prime knit to keep you a little bit warm. And the shoe's going to come with an internal heel clip, and that feels real good. Just add to the secureness of the shoe. And you already know, I love to see that in a basketball shoe. And a closer look at some details, the shoe does come with a shank plate, and you can see that right there in the center. But it is going to be a different type of design because it extends all throughout the shoe, but it also has a couple cutouts. So you can see right there the prime knit, and then you can see the boost as well that's not colored. And I love this shank plate because look, it extends all the way up here, and then we turn the shoe around and you can also see it on the side of the shoe. And it is a good size of a shank plate. Just look at that. Feels very supportive, especially if you have arch problems. I do tend to have arch problems, but this shoe felt real good in it, so no complaints whatsoever on my end. And before we wrap things up, let's talk about sizing. So make sure if you're narrow or regular, you go a half size down. And if you are a wide footer, make sure you go true to size because that's how you're going to get the best fit. I am a wide footer, so when I put on these shoes, I was real happy that they fit real good. Nice and snug with no problems on the side and just a little bit of room in the front. So make sure you follow those guidelines for the best fit. And there you have it. And the Trae Young 2 is going to be a very versatile shoe because you can be very shifty and you're going to have good footwork and step backs with the front of the shoe. Yet you still have a lot of support for those landings. You can get up there a few times if you like. Not just that, but this shoe does make you feel like you can move fast, even though it's a little bit heavier than other shoes that I usually wear, but you don't feel slow at all. So that's a huge plus. And I do like how the shoe fits. I feel that it's very comfortable. Even though it is a booty, it feels very secure. So with that said, it's just a matter of seeing if this shoe is going to work with your playstyle. I do think that this shoe has real good support for light players or even heavier set players, because Adidas does make a little bit wider bases for their shoes, and then you got the boost to support your weight if you need that extra support. So there you go. These were the Trae Young 2, a shoe that goes for 140 USD. I highly recommend, and I think they're worth it, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.